We were recently asked to provide a workplace relations update to a group of CPA accountants, and one of the topics that they asked us to cover was the impact that COVID-19 had had on workers' compensation claims. Now, the data that we collected from the State Insurance Regulatory Authority, or SIRA, provided for some very interesting insights, and we wanted to share this with our broader audience. So as you can see from the data that we've got up on the screen now, there's been a significant explosion in the number of COVID-related workers' compensation claims in New South Wales since the 16th of June 2021. Now, this can largely be linked to the Omicron strain. In addition to the widespread transmission of Omicron, one of the key factors in the high number of claims has been as a result of the combination of the elimination of contract tracing and changes to the workers' compensation legislation. We note that many businesses are not overly concerned about an escalation in claims because their mindset is that, well, that's why I pay for insurance. Well, we wanted to remind you that if your business pays over $30,000 in workers' compensation premiums per annum, that you're considered to be claims sensitive. And this means that your premiums will increase significantly in response to any claims that are made, including COVID-related claims. The true cost to the business of this explosion of claims will not be known yet for a few years. In May 2020, changes made to Section 19B of the New South Wales Workers' Compensation Act 1987 essentially put in place a presumption that employees of certain industries contracted COVID at work unless it could be demonstrated that they contracted COVID outside of work. Now, these industries that were covered by the changes were very broad, and they included industries such as retail, hospitality, construction, cleaning, health, disability, and aged care. So with the effective removal of contract tracing as a result of the widespread nature of Omicron, it's absolutely no wonder that we saw an explosion in workers' compensation claims, as there was realistically no objective way for businesses to prove that an employee contracted COVID outside of work. We note that at the time of this video, these laws are still in place, although their removal is currently being debated in Parliament. One of the other observations from this data set is that approximately 2% of the claims were as a result of adverse reaction from employees receiving the vaccine. And this is one of the downsides of implementing a mandatory vaccination policy within an industry or within a business. It's unclear though from the data the number of adverse reaction claims that come from industries mandated by the public health orders or businesses choosing to implement a mandatory vaccination policy above and beyond the public health orders. But we would expect that these numbers are a combination of both. The final observation that we wanted to draw your attention to is that approximately 2% of the COVID-related workers' compensation claims also included a mental health component. This significantly impacts the way in which we interpret these statistics, as the natural thinking would be that despite the high number of claims, the severity and therefore the expense of those claims on the business would be limited to the typical recovery period for COVID. So in this case, let's call that 2 weeks. However, when it comes to mental health claims, we know that the average length of claim is somewhere north of 20 weeks, which is longer than the typical spinal injury claim. So we must view this data not only in terms of the number of claims, but also their severity and ultimately, for claim-sensitive businesses, the overall cost to the business. And so for these reasons, we hope that the presumption of contracting COVID at work is removed sooner rather than later.
Does your business have a HR or workplace relations issue? Are you unsure how to work through compliance issues but still achieve a good business outcome? Why not take advantage of on-demand HR's free 30-minute online consultation with an experienced HR consultant. At the end of the consultation, we also provide you with a strategic action plan to resolve your current issues. To see the types of matters we can help you with and schedule your consultation, please visit ondemandhr.com.au/advice. We look forward to delivering certainty, confidence, and clarity for your business in your HR and workplace relations affairs.